Ladies and gentlemen across the galaxy, I am not kidding you. They are back in action. Who is they, people? Oh, MAGMATROOPER is coming back into the counter meta. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know why I'm hyped, every 2 years, this happens. Play it one more time, Gary. Give MAGMATROOPER a little bit of love. Maggie the MAGMATROOPER. Oh my gosh. Also famously known as MAGMATROOPER the Forgotten. Yes, the Galactic War Store character. I swear, every 2 years, 2016, 2018, and it seems like for 2020, MAGMATROOPER finds her way back into the counter meta. Oh, we got a lot to talk about. We were talking about Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine counters. We're getting all excited, showcasing Palpatine and Luke footage over the past week, but now we're closely getting into the next Grand Arena cycle and Territory War cycles, which are going to be having Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine and Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. And I want to start talking about counters that I've been using, I've been testing in my Arena Shard. Big shout out to Taco Dog, who got Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, placed it in Arena for me, and all this weekend I have been testing nonstop against Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine. We got a couple of counters to show you, and the first we're going to talk about is MAGMATROOPER. Just hold your hoists for a second. But one thing I want to point out before we get too crazy into the gameplay is just like when Rey and Kylo first came out, finding the optimal counters, finding the optimal Rey and Kylo teams changes over time, because once we think we find a good Rey and Kylo composition and we find a counter for it, we start altering the combo for Rey or Kylo a little bit. So this is just initial impressions, and the two most popular teams I'm seeing with Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, we've shown them this weekend. One of them is going to consist of the Sith Triumvirate. Here's my defense team right here. We got 5 defensive wins in this past territory war with it. And the other one we showed you yesterday involves the Sith Empire. And as we're going to showcase today, the counters for Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine might influence what team compositions we see with Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine. Without further ado, let's start talking about MAGMATROOPER. My gosh, when I was doing testing and starting to learn how Palpatine works on defense, I was like, how would MAGMATROOPER work in this lineup? And the reason why I say every 2 years she comes back into the fold is every 2 years we get like this big Sith uprising. 2016, I believe we had Darth Vader, or was it 2017? 2016 or 2017? Darth Vader became pretty popular to use as a Darth Vader lead, and MAGMATROOPER was very helpful in countering, because with the unique ability, MAGMATROOPER gets tons and tons of passive turn meter anytime they are resisting or gaining a debuff on them. And then right at the very beginning, as you see in this footage right here, MAGMATROOPER got a bunch of massive turn meter gain and was able to strip away turn meter with her thermal imploder, which removes 30% turn meter and a 70% chance to remove another 30% turn meter. And with her unique ability, hazard training, they're going to get plus 30% tenacity, and then they get 70% turn meter the first time he resists. It's actually, oh my gosh, Maggie's a boy. Oh my gosh. Well, apparently the kid's telling me it's a boy. So we've been calling Maggie a girl. Oh boy, we have a lot of stuff we're discovering in today's video, people. So what's the boy's name with Mag? Oh boy, we have a lot to learn. Anyways, aside from that shocking discovery that I'm making right now, paired with Thrawn lead, it looks like Thrawn and Vader are going to be yet again very helpful in these upcoming Galactic Legends counters. With the Thrawn lead, anytime they're resisting a debuff, they're getting 20% turn meter. So Maggie, or whatever, calling him Maggie for the time being, anytime Maggie's resisting or getting a debuff, they're going to be getting in total 90% turn meter, give or take. And that's going to allow them to open up really quickly and throw the thermal imploder and pull back the turn meter. And as you see, it really helps control the Sith, because Thrawn and MAGMATROOPER, if you recall a couple years ago, that was one of the counters to the Sith Triumvirate, and also for Darth Vader. So what we're seeing right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what looks like to be a very, very cheap free-to-play counter up against a Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine. And one thing I really noticed is that Thrawn, because these aren't light side characters, it's very easy to fracture Palpatine because he doesn't easily get deceived here. So really, we get that target lock from Probe Droid and the buff dispel from Probe Droid to get rid of all the taunts. And because there's no reoccurring taunts, like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren lead, where Advantage can repop the taunt, you can immediately fracture Palpatine. And this is non-ultimate Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine gameplay, but I think Thrawn, Vader, MAGMATROOPER, that combo we just showed right there, I think that's still going to work up against ultimate Palpatine, because Palpatine never gets a turn. Because as you know, Thrawn lead, we're constantly over and over again just holding Thrawn's fracture as long as possible. Because anytime you're using a special ability with an Imperial ally. You're pulling away Thrawn's Terminator, so the fracture never goes away. So I think that has a high probability of doing well. Anytime you're hitting Scion, for example, pain's getting inflicted on MAGMATROOPER, and they're getting Terminator over and over again. So you can try to loop it almost between maneuver, hitting Scion, getting the pain, Darth Vader feeding debuffs, Nihilus feeding debuffs passively. It's interesting. But now I want to start talking about other things I've came across. Emperor Palpatine against the Sith Eternal. Emperor Palpatine seems to do very well. I don't know if this is the lineup to use. It's the one I tried using. Didn't need Thrawn, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to imagine a world where it's happening very soon, probably this week. We're going to start seeing 4 Galactic Legends on defense, potentially. How do you stretch out characters like Thrawn and Vader and Jedi to counter all these Galactic Legends? And this might be an opportunity right here with Palpatine just running circles around the Sith Eternal. It seems like the big things that work against Sith Eternal Palpatine are teams that are going to outrun Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, get more turns out there before Palpatine can, Sith Eternal can start doing this thing, and big, massive damage. So far, 2 things. Thrawn lead, Palpatine lead seem to do all right, but these have Vader in them. And the question is going to become, where's going to be the best use of Vader? Up against Rey, up against Kylo, Luke, Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine. That's what we're going to have to learn over time. But I'm putting out these options for you guys now, because not everyone's going to have Galactic Legends. I want to start putting these opportunities in front of you to start looking into as you want to start countering these teams at the bread. As you see, Vader seems kind of important for here because he puts out big damage. And who would have known about this? Full Sith Empire. Darth Revan wasn't really, a full Sith Empire team wasn't really that useful up against Supreme Leader Kylo Ren as well as Rey. There were some hybrid combinations like Wat Tambor, Geo Brood that we showed way back when. But literally, a full Sith Empire, whether you want to use Sith Trooper, Sith Marauder, doesn't really matter. It just works out the gate. The Sith Empire just works against Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, works against Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Actually, it works a lot better up against Jedi Master Luke Skywalker because Luke is always taunting over and over again, which allows you to spread the fear as much as possible. So this is going to be another huge counter out there, and this is great because, as we're saying, we're trying to stretch out our counters. And if you see a Sith Emperor Palpatine, most likely what I'm going to try to do is save my Sith Empire team, counter Palpatine, then I can use Vader and Thrawn up against Rey perhaps, and then Jedi up against, for example, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and then Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. We might have to use something else for those guys right there. But see, another huge counter right there. I tried this without Malik, just putting Sith Trooper, Sith Marauder, no Malik. That did not work for me. So it seems like Malik is kind of necessary for this to work right here. But Sith Marauder, man, he puts out massive damage up against Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, really churns out the damage as much as possible. So another big one right here. Look at that. Boom, 125,000 damage. And that was really nothing. Moving on here. Rebels. Now, as I said, this is not Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine gameplay. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, this is going to have as high of a success rate once Palpatine gets the ultimate. I could be wrong. We're going to have to retest when I see it here. But oddly enough, Rebels, despite the anti-Rebel synergy baked into the Sith Eternal Emperor's kit, can still do well. You get to churn through all the Sith very easily. But as you're going to see towards the end, taking down Palpatine himself was a very, very difficult task. I had to fast forward the footage by over 500%. And eventually, we were able to take out the Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine. So throwing this out there seems to be a degree of viability with the Rebels up against the Sith Eternal, and it really just comes down to, luckily, the big damage that's happening on this team, even when you get linked. And if you guys know what Link does, Link firstly lets Palpatine siphon your protection when you're taking all of your turns, but furthermore, it's also stopping you from critically hitting. And although that it kind of sucks for your Rebels, they can still put big damage despite having the Link on them. And here we go. We get down to the final showdown here, speeding up the footage by a ton. And it's funny, once we started having Han Solo die, we were able to actually make some good progress and finally took him out. So ultimate Palpatine, not quite sure, but this is an opportunity. If you're coming across a non-ultimate Sith Eternal Emperor this upcoming month of Grand Arena, something to put out there. Now we come to the Jedi. Now Palpatine Sith Eternal counters Jedi very easily, but it's actually kind of easy if you're putting Jedi Knight Revan in your hands and controlling. This is basically the same exact lineup, more or less, that you would use up against Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but here we're bringing in General Anakin Skywalker. And I've been testing out the AI with Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, and just like with Rey and Kylo, where they're coded to make sure they go for someone first before the next person, General Anakin Skywalker definitely has some sort of high priority for Galactic Legends Palpatine to make sure he links them at the very beginning. So keep that in mind. As we're forming counters, keep in mind that if you're putting General Anakin Skywalker in the team, it seems like he's going to be the first target for Palpatine to go after. And it makes sense because he can't critically hit. But despite not being able to critically hit, he still puts out solid non-critical damage, especially when being fed the offense up from Basla, the offensive bonuses through Jedi Knight Revan's lead, the offensive bonuses coming from Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. So we're actually able to do pretty good here. This would have been, I mean, I'm guessing almost max banners. If you're thinking of Grand Arena, I'm guessing if you have no protection, you're going to miss out on 2 banners right here. But overall, was kind of impressed with this. I was expecting it to be a complete loss. We tried a variety of stuff. I'm going to show some stuff that didn't work towards the end, like General Anakin Skywalker in the 501st. That doesn't work. You can do a good number up against the Sith Emperor Palpatine to at least delete the Sith around them. But Palpatine, we've shown this. He solos. He solos the 501st easily. He links up Skywalker. Skywalker loses all of his max protection. And the problem is, if he has no max protection by the time he goes down and takes his nap, he isn't getting up until the rest of your 501st allies are done for. So there may be maybe an interesting way to work around this in the future for developing counters, but at least the highlight is that it seems like at least Palpatine, you can delete all of his Sith around them, and then you can just get down to the solo between Gas and Palpatine. Skywalker will lose that 1v1. Palpatine can solo the entire 501st and Skywalker, but I just want to put that out there. That didn't work in terms of trying to at least beat Palpatine. Maybe there's some modding strategy we're going to think of, perhaps. Maybe just delete all of his protection, just give him as much offense as possible. But I have a lot of offense in my General Anakin Skywalker, and it didn't work. And what I want to do to kind of wrap up this video is talk about other stuff that I tried out. It's, if you don't know by now, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is the hardest counter for Sith Emperor Palpatine. I personally have not beaten Supreme Leader Kylo Ren once with the Sith Emperor Palpatine. Kylo Ren has beaten Palpatine all the time. My shardmates are saying, yeah, Kylo Ren is such an easy counter up against Palpatine. Rey can kind of hold up in there. She can beat Palpatine sometimes, but it's a very dirty battle. And it always comes to the very end of Rey hopefully getting a perfectly timed ultimate to delete Palpatine. What else? Jedi Master Luke Skywalker struggles against Palpatine. The Darth Curious tried battling me. He said it's very difficult. So that's something to put out there. It seems like Palpatine is going to have very good viability up against Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. We tried Padme Amidala. Padme teams couldn't get it done. We tried Bounty Hunters. I tried Jedi Training Grey with the Resistance heroes. That didn't seem to work. So those are that's what I tried out so far. We have a lot of options, and it's great already seeing day one, or week one, I should say. We already have so many counters at our disposal, and I'm sure we're going to discover more as time goes on. Maybe I'm a bit biased here, but I'm feeling like these batch of Galactic Legends are less stressful than Rey and Kylo. It might be because we're already used to the power level of these Galactic Legends, and we already know what counters worked against Rey and Kylo, and we could try to repeat them again. Thrawn, Vader, Watt, Darth Revan, those are kind of the core for countering Galactic Legends, Palpatine, and Luke. It seems like we're going to do some Luke counter gameplay later on this week before the next Grand Arena. But man, Magmatrooper coming back in. Ooh, baby. It's great to see that they're going to get love, and apparently I got to rethink a name. I could have sworn Magmatrooper was a lady as well of the Empire. I am sorry, Magmatrooper. We got to think of something. Comment down below. What's the name for Magmatrooper? Because if we're going to start using them, I got to make sure I got their name down to a science. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below on all your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe to support the Empire and Magmatrooper. And we're going to see all you lovely people in the next video. I can't believe Magmatrooper is coming back, baby. All right, hit the outro.